Can you believe that we have completed season 1 of the Chasing Brighter podcast?
Woot woot! I can't. Time flew by for sure, Jess.
Yeah. 61 episodes, I believe. 60 episodes.
It's been work. I'm not gonna lie, but it's been fun.
Yeah, it's what do I want to say? Tested our relationship and how we work, and each of us have a different work vibe. But I'm so excited to look back at season 1 and talk about some of our favorite episodes and some of our listeners' favorite episodes.
Yes.
Looking back at season 1, Kelly, what was your favorite podcast episode?
So it was hard to pick, but when I looked back, my fondest memory is of our episode on called The Cruise. And it was, again, our early episodes, it was a little bumpy. We didn't really know how we were going to structure our discussions. And it was one, if you could even see some of the video, but I just remember even myself where we started out, it's almost like I had a personal transformation in the episode. That's kind of why I liked it, is I felt like I was like, oh, wow, this is going to be cool. And this is going to be fun. And it was kind of that light bulb moment in that episode for me that I was like really enjoying what we were going to do and saw the potential of it. So I thought that was cool. It was funny. There was some laughs in it. I thought it was a good story. And
that was was that our very first recording?
I think it might have been.
Yeah. And I think for me, it reminds me, I don't know, I have a hard time knowing what's best because we have so many incredible people that we know and people have asked to be on the podcast. But also I love when we're just talking. I love that too. And it was just debriefing.
And that was this. Yeah. This episode was really us just talking, which was kind of fun. And sometimes I think I don't know if we have very interesting things to say, but that one I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was funny. I think, it was just me debriefing about a 3-day cruise to Mexico.
Yes.
Right. And I think your skill in podcasting is, and I think you're an incredible interviewer. So it's like you were kind of interviewing me a little bit on that episode.
Well, as you know, I really try to channel Jason Bateman from my favorite SmartList podcast. So that might have been really one of my first tries at that.
I don't know if you had honed in on that yet. Do you remember what was it called? Good time, whatever, the Saturday Night Live skits in the 90s with those women that had a podcast, an NPR podcast. And I said something about sweaty balls and I showed the kids and we pulled up the YouTube episode of them and they were dying because they were like, that's Aunt Kelly. They were dying. They're like, that's Aunt Kelly on the podcast. Cause they were like, oh, yes. And they were like, Gabby was like, oh my gosh, that's Aunt Kelly. I'm like, oh, she's channeling Jason Bateman and that NPR skit.
Oh man, I don't remember what those. It was Molly Shannon is one, right? Who is one of the
Anna Gasteyer.
Yes.
And they were like, you know what I mean? It was just really funny because they were so reserved. They were like, I'm so excited for Christmas. Do you have your wreaths out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Delightful. And so it was funny. So I'm like, you've gotten in the zone now, I think.
I try.
Yeah. No, that was really fun. That was a really fun episode. And,
Yeah. So everyone, here is our replay of the cruise episode.
How was my cruise? The cruise was awesome and we were happy with everything we did. I don't think I would do it again. Our friend signed up again, but I don't know how you feel about travel, but don't you just like to do everything once?
Yes.
Not really, but you like Florida. I don't know.
We never go to the same place twice.
Okay. So you always go to different places in Florida.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Yeah. I think it's always one of those where like we had a fabulous time this last time, for sure. But I would have liked to have gone out to dinner, so I would have liked to have made reservations. If I did it all over again, I think there's just so many places in Florida that I would like to try different places. At the end of the day, secretly, it's like I want to go somewhere where I want to live. So I think Fort Myers Beach is a nice place to visit.
Like retire?
No, it's a nice place to visit. But yes, where would I want to retire? Like we want to live on a coastline somewhere.
I think about that like on my dream. I think I'm not a beach person. I think I'm a mountain forest lady. And I love that St. George area. I loved Williams, Arizona. Because I'm not a sitter or rounder, right? You are. You like to relax. I'm a let's go explore hiker type person. Also, I don't like sand in my butt crack. I feel like sand everywhere. It looks beautiful in pictures and you get there and then sands.
We didn't have
sheets and sands everywhere.
Well, that's a nice thing you visit because then you don't have to change the sheets. You're in the whole week. They have to change the sheets. I'm sure there was sand everywhere, but we don't notice it. I mean, we go to the beach a fair amount here, in the summer anyway. And so I don't notice it so much. I mean, you'd take a shower every day when you came home. All of us took a shower every single day when we came back.
It's still, I don't know. On the other hand, I mean, because we were talking about going to San Diego, but I think about that too. So here's what we always do. Oh, this is so great. Let's get a cabin here. And then when you break it down financially, you can always just Airbnb it.
Yeah, no, we go through the same thing because it's like.
Then it's like I want property. I'm really weird about like generational property, right? Then you have like property for your children to have, and you're like investing in. Land.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like mom and dad got the timeshare stuff because they were like thinking that we would use that, and like we don't use it. So I don't think it's like you expect your children to follow in some footsteps and they don't anyway.
I'm so good at that. That's good.
I also feel like what I was going to say was, I think the thing with the property stuff is it's always just like a little out of reach. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, if this condo was 200,000 maybe, but it's 500,000, we can't do it. You know what I mean? Like it's always like something where it was like, well, 10 years ago it was 200,000. Yeah.
I know. God, we were just talking about that when we moved here in 2009. I should have just borrowed money from every single person we knew and bought like 5 houses. That's so crazy.
We were even talking. So crazy. I was even talking. Dad was even mentioning like when I went off to college. If we would have just bought
a property back
then.
Yeah.
But I was like
80,000.
Again, it's not like you have the money to put it down.
I'm not going where she's going. I'm not going where she's going. The other thing. Okay, so the cruise was good. We went to Ensenada. I was really proud of us. We did very touristy things, and that was fun. There was this like winery, something Santo Tomas, and I wanted to go to this area, and it was like really weird when I take Justin on these places when we travel that I read about, and there's a chance that he may be sexually assaulted on our way there. Like it's a little dicey. We went through like some dicey areas. It was a little scary. And I'm like, it says 2 more minutes on GPS. And then we got there and it was just this like beautiful, super like hipster, amazing, like warehouse and tasting room and a cheese place and a little store and a coffee shop. It was really crazy. It was like this beautiful with like a market square. And I went to the tasting room. That was disappointing because nobody was there. I went to the warehouse where you buy wine and I was like, can you taste it? And she's like, go across the street. And I went across the street and nobody was in there. We were like, hello, we waited. And then these guys came in and they were like doing paperwork and ignoring us. So went back to the warehouse and the girl was like, oh, what did you taste? I was like, nobody was over there. And she was like, when you have coworkers that suck? And she made that face like, oh, that really sucks because they suck over there. And then
this was in Ensenada? Was it in Ensenada?
They have this like award-winning, they have all these olive oils and they have this like award-winning olive oil. they have like 5 kinds, but there was this one olive oil. So I got olive oil. I got a couple bottles of wine. I went and got like a really delicious coffee. And there was this little market, and Justin's like, "Do you want to go on the market?" Girl, that was my market. I didn't get anything, but like, I can't have gluten. And there's the brand Siete and Birch Benders, and it was like a little baby Whole Foods. Like it was like, we didn't buy anything. We just want to look at it. And he was like, "Oh my God, this was your store. Like, this was my brands." Like, everything was like gluten-free. It was fresh fruit. It had all this stuff. So.
Okay. I have 3 comments on what you're saying. Number 1, was this all in Ensenada? I'm looking at it on Google Maps. So did they
Baja
like
California, Mexico? So I don't understand
Yes.
country-wise what the situation was.
But did
Just
they
show birth certificate money.
like you had like a whole, did they dock in the morning? You had the full day there?
Yeah, you dock in the morning and so we were on this old school cruise. I learned so much. Okay, you need to look up freestyle music. Okay.
I have 3. I just have 2 more questions.
Okay.
But
So
you can keep talking
it was
about
the
that.
old school cruise, and it was freestyle music, which is this like music that I had to, I Googled it. I'm a big nerd.
Is it like house music?
It started with the Puerto Rican and Italian community in New York in the early 80s. And it was like urban heartbreak songs. And our friends are Latina, and our friends are Mexican American. They grew up in Southern California, and they're like, "This is our music. This is our music. This is our music growing up." And so it was all these bands. And so it was a huge party cruise. And so there's this place called Papa's and Beer. There's only like 2 or 3 locations of like this famous club. And so everybody went off the cruise, went to Papa's and Beer. But Jess and I were like, the whole cruise is a party. So why am I going to get off the cruise, go to another country and drink with all the same people that are on the boat? Like, I wanted to see Ensenada, and I wanted to like get souvenirs and walk around. So, so we went down Ensenada. We went like down the main street, First Street. We got little, like all the things people say to get. We, purchased some cool things.
Have you been to Puerto Vallarta? Puerto Vallarta. Was it like that downtown? Like where it's like all kinds of cool restaurants and shops and things? Or is it more touristy? Or is it a little sad?
It was very sad.
Okay.
It was sad. It was like when like the little kids are selling things. You never went to
Okay. So it was like third world country.
Chicle, like in
Okay.
San Diego. And so some of it was like sad. Like the woman had her baby in the carrier and was like selling homemade bracelet, so you're like, oh yeah, but when we got there really early, and it was really sad when nothing was open, but when things opened up, had a happier vibe. Then we went to the wine place. We took everything back on the boat, dumped everything off on the boat. And then we went to like the boardwalk area. And by that time it was like noon. It was really happening. And that's where I think a lot of the locals go. It was a Sunday. So there was just a ton of local families there. And that was a happier boardwalky vibe where they were selling stuff. We got it's called Tosti Locos, and they take a bag of Tostitos and they cut it sideways. And we didn't know there was a translation.
So it's like a walking taco on crack?
We were like going off of Justin's 1995 AP Spanish. So there was like a little something lost in translation. And elote, how we love elote, right? It's the corn. Okay. So they had elote rolled in like Cheetos and rolled in Doritos and rolled in whatever. And we wanted a plain elote. Okay. And then we wanted this Tosti Locos, which was like people walking around with like these.
It's a walking taco, but like a giant jumbo one. That's amazing.
So, well, no, not giant jumbo, but so when we asked for it, what we asked for was Tostitos with elote on it, which was like ridiculous and amazing. And then Tosti Locos was all this crazy crap. Like it was good, but it was like cucumbers. And I think, cucumbers, jicama, beans, those crunchy peanuts, those peanuts coated in something, and those gummy candies rolled in tahine. And then they took a straw. This is me guessing what happened in this situation was they took a big straw, they rolled a fruit roll up over it, and then they rolled the fruit roll up in tahine and chili powder and stuck that in there. And together, when you took a bite of that and the bite of the elote, we were like, this is pretty awesome. But like, we would not have ordered that if we knew what we were ordering. But was like really good. It had like these gummy candies in it. It was really crazy. Hence the name Toasty Locos. But that was fun that we went out and did that again.
And then
So
you
that
guys
was-
took a cab to the winery after that?
No. We walked there because I like to put us in precarious situations where you may or may not be kidnapped. It's
Now, when you were at the winery,
the vibe I like.
was it like when we went to the one in Southwest Michigan where it's actually really terrible wine, but you're standing there and you're convincing each other that it's
I don't
delicious?
know. I bought some. Who knows?
Mm.
When I'm hot, I like really want a Chardonnay. So I bought a
Okay.
Chardonnay and there's a wine. Is it like St. Columbine? I don't know. It was a white wine. I never heard of this grape before. And then Justin likes, there was a Tempranillo, right? Tempranillo?
Yeah.
Tempranillo Cabernet.
Okay.
And he's into reds right now. I'm not. So it was like the mini bottle. Like a
Tempranillo is a South American red, so that makes sense.
Right. It was a Tempranillo Cabernet.
Okay.
So I got him a smaller one of those. And the prices were like, so for this bottle of olive oil, that one.
You got muted somehow. I lost your voice. I can't hear you.
You can't hear me now? Can you?
Now I can.
So I don't know if you heard me say 3 bottles of wine, 2.5 bottles of wine, and a bottle of olive oil, $40.
That's great.
So I went to this place called the Tequila Room because I like tequila. I like a reposado. And so we went tasting. So we had already bought a tequila and they had a macadamia nut liqueur that Justin saw. And he was like, your dad would
Oh,
love
that sounds, yeah, that'll be
we
cool.
bought that for dad. And then when we went to the silver store,
You know what? I bet you that if he ends up not liking it, I bet you that'll make a killer rum cake.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Went to the silver store, and in the silver store, they were like pouring us shots of tequila as well. Although because we drink I'm not a lot of tequila, but because I drank my tequila on the rocks, I think it was watered down. I think it was half tequila, half water. But anyways, there was some tequila tasting. And unfortunately, we couldn't taste the wine, but we'll see how it is. It's not like it was a big financial investment.
Well, if it's a Tempranillo, it'll be good. I don't know how the whites will be. What about so the grocery store? Here's something I was thinking about. Mom and Dad were here, this weekend, and I think for some reason, when you have older people who visit you, they really like going to the grocery store because all they do is think about the prices of things that they pay at home versus the price of things here or the things that they have that they don't have. So I had like a container of vanilla ice cream in the freezer. And so we were serving it. And you know how Dad is with ice cream. And so he was like, this is good, but do you guys have the Bluebell? And so I was like, no, I don't think so. And then so he Googled, he was like, they have that at Target. Because I guess Justin's like obsessed with some like home
Kelly
style
thing. Here's the thing. And I know because you haven't had Bluebell. And so
it's like home style creamery or something.
Just really quick though, just want to say like you sound really judgy and you're speaking from an uninformed perspective.
I must be.
So I think you need to check yourself. You need to slow it down a little bit.
So you're saying this
taste the Bluebell and then you can come on back.
He said that Justin buys it like multiple, like, do they have a limit of how many you can buy?
First of all, okay. You and I need to watch. So I think there's a Bluebell documentary. Are you even aware of Bluebell?
No.
And don't get that confused with Wells Blue Bunny because when Justin's family came, our nephew was like, oh yeah, it's a Blue Bunny. I mean, you should have just slapped Justin in the face. I mean, this was just so offensive. But basically, Bluebell is an ice cream out of Texas. They're claiming,
yes, that's what I heard.
Kelly, they claim to have created cookies and cream ice cream. Okay. And my mother-in-law was like, no way, this is not possible, right? So Bluebell came, they opened up here. They opened up
like they have a storefront or something?
No, like a warehouse.
Okay.
I don't know if
Okay.
they packed it or whatever. It was a big deal. They had signs everywhere, Bluebell. They had jobs and everything. And then Bluebell had listeria.
Okay. Okay.
There was a problem in the factory in Texas. It was dripping down into the ice cream and people died.
Mm.
People went to prison. Like the CEOs, people knew about it. People went to prison. People died.
This is the documentary. Don't give me spoiler alerts.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Then, and I know because when mom and dad watch the show, I get a play-by-play
That's true.
of
Mhm.
the poor nurse that served it to people who wanted to give them a little treat. They were dying, and she gave them all a little scoop of ice cream, and 3 of them died. So that's super messed up and
Thanks.
true story. Okay. So the factory closed. It opened up. We got a taste of this Bluebell. They took it away from us. And I since then have found out I cannot have dairy, right? I can't do the ice cream. And so it just started coming back here like April. And so Justin went to the store and bought a whole bunch so the kids could try all the different flavors.
Okay.
And so when we had family come, it was the opposite of you. So you served like tier 3 or 4 ice cream at your home.
It was
When
Tillamook.
our family came,
I don't feel like
we
that's bad.
served Bluebell.
Beckett,
I don't remember what it tastes like, and I don't do dairy now. So
I will try it. I just don't eat ice cream, and maybe I have some dairy issues too. I just don't do dairy. I mean, I have heavy cream.
I'll do like just occasionally. I'll really want. That's something I miss so much. But I can't have it because I won't even like go near it. But I'll do like a cashew milk ice cream occasionally or something.
The last thing. Okay, so
parents were-
the last thing I want to talk about regarding your cruise, maybe 2 things more. One is the liquor confiscation.
yeah, my liquor was confiscated.
So now,
So can I tell you my two theories?
do you think yes, because I have my own
the
theories.
security guards at Carnival Cruise must be paid $100 an hour because they're invested that much in what the hell I bring on the cruise, right? I mean, they've got to make so much money because I would have been a terrible employee. I would have given 0 shits who brought in what, right? Because it wasn't a weapon, right? I wouldn't care. But I expertly recorked my tequila and everything, and it was amazing. And it's all my husband's fault because I had mine in my bag and he had his on the side of the backpack, like your water bottle holder.
So it was like very visible.
Yeah. But Justin said, you have to realize, right? I think he's brilliant. So I believe stuff that comes out of his mouth. And he was like, oh, the scanner was like a light scanner and everything has a different refractory point, which I've never heard of that word. So that sounded really smart. So that must be real.
Well, I wondered.
She took it out and she flipped it upside down and shook it and looked and couldn't even tell. So then, like, props to Jessica, high five, give it back to me because you don't even know what it is. Then gives it to her supervisor, shakes. And they're like looking at it and they take it. And then the supervisor was like, you, ma'am, to me, who was already like past security, should have kept going, pretended I didn't know the sketchy person behind me. And they made me take my one out and they shook, looked at it, and then they threw it in a big container. Okay. So second theory, number 1, either the Carnival employee people are paid $100 an hour, very invested in their jobs, super excited to confiscate alcohol. Number 2, there's 2 things, a bin of trash and a bin of confiscated alcohol. And at the end of the day, they divide it up to go party. And that's it.
So here is what I wondered. Does everybody know that that's how you bring fake liquor on, for them to shake up the wine? Are you allowed to bring wine on?
Looking at, are there more bubbles? You can bring wine. You can bring a bottle of
So
wine.
I bet you, here's my thinking is,
I should have brought one.
2 middle-aged individuals trying to smuggle in hard alcohol is like, you guys think that you're like sneaky. They're like, it's 2 40-somethings bringing on bottles. Like, we already know what that is.
No,
Versus-
every single person was 40 and every single person brought a bottle of wine.
Uncle Dennis brings on
Yeah.
booze all the time. I think they're like, he's going to drink that in 20 minutes, so I'm not going to worry about it. These people, they're trying to get on the cheap. We know their number.
It
You know what I
was
mean?
fine. So we got the drink package. Then. those sons of bitches got my money. I hope it was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think back and I'm like, why was I think it was more a challenge. Like, I don't know. I would just watch YouTube videos. I'm like, I think I want to try this. I think I could do it. Like,
I bet it sounds like it happened.
I didn't even care.
It sounds like it happened really fast too, right? Like
I didn't care, but there was a clearly unhappy woman who was giving me grief in line. She was just an unhappy person, and hers was confiscated. And she was going on and on and on about it. But Justin and I are like, yeah, if they take it, we tried. We don't really care, right? Like I kind of just like.
Was it Costco? Was it Costco liquor, or was it the good stuff?
His might have been a really good whiskey, but here's our joke. So it was like, I was in it. I don't know if you commit to something where you like commit to like, I'm going to like bring on this liquor. I should have just bought 2 bottles of wine, but I just wanted, I don't know. I was committed to like doing the court thing and like everything that people were talking about. I wanted to do it, but the bottles weren't dark. Like everything's twist off now, by the way. Like everything's twist off.
That's true.
And all the dark, like black bottles are twist off. And Justin's like, when you get a dark bottle, well, it looked dark with the wine in it, we poured out its light. And so we like both of us had, because I did a reposado and he did whiskey. You can't put that in a white wine bottle because it's like a light brown. Anyways, so I had to put food coloring in it. So I feel like I had to put so much food coloring in it that Justin was like, we're just going to have blue teeth. So he was like, I don't even want it. He was like, I don't even want it because it's going to be blue. So just the whole thing, just from the start. But were they just like,
but were you like, huh, that's a really blue Chardonnay. Like what color, like what kind of bottle did you?
Cabernets. No, I got.
Okay.
But it took like a lot of food coloring to get it dark to look in the bottle. I was really surprised by that. And then Justin's like, you should have got rosés. But again, I really feel like I half cared. I just wanted to see if I could do it. Who the heck knows? The cocktails on the cruise were very nice. They had.
Was it Carnival? You guys went on a Carnival cruise?
It was like a brand new ship. It was beautiful. We've never done Carnival before. It was beautiful, brand new. We got. We had a balcony.
Okay.
It was beautiful.
And the weather was nice.
I got the Wi-Fi because I was worried about the kids. But like the one thing I remember about the other cruises we went on is just being totally disconnected would have been nice. Completely 100% disconnected would have been really nice. But because I had the Wi-Fi, I didn't do a job of disconnecting.
You guys had fun with your friends that you were with on that?
So much fun. Like we had so much fun. They all signed up for next year, I think.
The same weekend?
It's going to be on Cinco de Mayo next year. So it's going to be like some.
Oh, yeah.
Really crazy. But it was like, so we were laughing. The day we went to Ensenada, everybody went to Papa's and beer. They came back to the ship. I mean, that was a lot of people drinking a lot. And, you know, I'm a people watcher. So I thought it was like so fun to like watch people. Right? Like people who were just living their best life. And my friend Marissa and I just kept saying like, oh, look at them. Like there was this woman, she was gorgeous. She was clearly like over 50, wearing a yellow bikini top and jeans and always on the dance floor, just killing it. And it was like, I bet you she's like the district attorney of LA. You know what I mean? Like, I bet you she's like, and she was like, this is my cruise life. I'm yellow bikini top. And just like seeing people like, good for you. You know what I mean? Like you wear that, you go, you like live your best life, you know? You do you. It was just fun to see like people letting loose.
Thanks for listening and joining us today.
And don't forget to follow us on social media at Chasing Brighter or on our blog, chasingbrighter.com.